Raphael is often celebrated for his renowned depiction in the School of Athens. Yet, as a painter of the Madonna and Child, he addressed a wide range of themes. Indeed, Raphael was not only a master of Madonna and Child paintings, but also created grand frescoes, mythological scenes, and of course, portraits. Although he left this world at the tender age of 37, it may well have been the sheer volume of commissions pouring into his workshop, and his refusal to turn any of them away that hastened his final days through exhaustion and overwork. When we speak of Raphael, we must inevitably mention his Madonna and Child paintings. One such work, known in English as Madonna of the Chair, features Madonna and Child with Saint John the Baptist within a circular composition. The motive behind its creation is not entirely clear. It may have been produced for a private form or some other intimate setting. Notably, this piece was once taken by Napoleon, only to be returned afterward. In any discussion of Raphael, one cannot overlook the presence of Leonardo da Vinci. Raphael observed much from Leonardo, elevating these lessons into his own works. It is little wonder that he earned the nickname the genius of imitation and transformed what he learned into something uniquely his own. In the center, we see Plato pointing a finger towards the heavens. In contrast, Aristotle gestures with his palm towards the earth. This is thought to symbolize Plato's philosophy of ideal forms versus Aristotle's focus on the observable world. It is said that Leonardo da Vinci served as the model for Plato. Moving to a lower left, someone diligently writes, "This is Pythagoras." Behind him, the man standing with a turban with a Moorish appearance is sometimes identified as Averroes. Notice the person resting his left foot on a block of marble, a book propped open on his side. Yet his gaze is fixed on Pythagoras' writing. There are many theories. The identity of the man is believed to be Parmenides, who was an associate of Pythagoras. Beside a square block of plaster, a philosopher with a powerful beard sits, writing. While interpretations differ, he is often considered to be Heraclitus. Some say his portrait resembles that of Michelangelo. One philosopher we can be certain of in the School of Athens is Socrates. We see him in the profile on the right, matching the image passed down since shortly after his death. He strikes an eloquent pose using his fingers to discuss deductive reasoning with his devoted students. In the niche on the left wall, a statue of Apollo holds a lyre. It is an attribute of Apollo, the god of poetry, harmony, and music. On the right half, a person bends towards the ground, carefully rotating a pair of compasses on a slate. Giorgio Vasari identified this man as Bramante, the great architect from Urbino, also Raphael's hometown. However, today he is widely believed to be Euclid, the father of geometry. Around his neckline, we can see the letters RYSM. This signifies by the hand of Raphael of Urbino. Of course, Raphael himself is present in this right-hand section. He used a mirror to paint his own likeness. He appears as a very modest young man wearing a black beret. Giorgio Vasari described him thus. Raphael was 28 at the time, and this image perfectly matches his youthful self-portrait in the Uffizi Gallery. In late 1504, after his training in Urbino and Perugia, Raphael traveled to Florence. At that very moment, two great masters, Leonardo and Michelangelo, were active in the city. and Raphael is said to have been deeply moved by the bold and fresh qualities of the work. According to Vasari, upon first seeing Leonardo's paintings in Florence, Raphael was so astonished that he stood there in awe, calling them the most marvelous things he had ever witnessed. Raphael was also quite skilled at painting large-scale frescoes. A fine example is the Liberation of Saint Peter, which illustrates a scene from the Acts of the Apostles, where Saint Peter, guided by an angel, escapes from prison. In this very first room he worked on in the Vatican, Raphael displayed a pinnacle of Renaissance art, depicting the dramatic story of slipping away under the cover of darkness so as not to wake the guards. Naturally, he was also an accomplished draftsman who produced many drawings as he worked on his frescoes. One such piece is two head studies for the Transfiguration of Christ. These studies demonstrate that Raphael was, without question, one of the greatest draftsmen in the history of art. He was likewise a painter of mythological subjects, with the triumph of Galatea counted among his representative works. Raphael eagerly learned from ancient sculpture and architecture, painted in the villa of Agostino Chizzi, a wealthy banker. The triumph of Galatea shows how he drew upon classical forms like ancient Venus statues and the shallow reliefs on sarcophagi to achieve an ideal portrayal of the female figure. He was also a master portrait artist whose keen realism can remind us of Jan van Eyck. Leonardo often idealized his subjects to give them a universal quality. In contrast, Raphael strove for a very high degree of realism, placing greater importance on each individual's unique character. In Raphael's paintings, we can find many instances where he skillfully absorbed and adapted the ideas of earlier masters. Here are a few notable examples. Madonna of the Meadow, painted during Raphael's years in Florence. This Madonna and Child clearly reflects the influence of Leonardo da Vinci. Just as in Leonardo's The Virgin and Child with Saint Anne, Raphael adapts a simple yet intimate arrangement of both indoor and outdoor space, uniting his figures in a stable, triangular composition. Each figure has its own presence while all remain harmoniously connected. Saint Catherine of Alexandria, completed near the end of Raphael's Florentine stay. This piece depicts the martyr Catherine leaning against the wheel that symbolizes her martyrdom, gazing up toward heaven. The elegantly twisted pose, known as contrapposto, is a classic sign of Leonardo's influence, and it's thought to echo the now-lost Leonardo painting, Leda and the Swan. Indeed, Catherine stands with her left shoulder drawn back, and her eyes lifted skyward, carries a gentle grace reminiscent of Leonardo's work. The style Raphael developed by uniting various artistic elements and refining them was praised even in his own lifetime as an ideal form of classical beauty. It had a profound effect on many artists. In Rome, numerous students gathered at Raphael's workshop, inheriting their master's approach and forming what might be called a Raphaelite school. Michelangelo, who was Raphael's illustrious contemporary, was often compared to him, and their two contrasting styles became enduring models that guided countless artists in the generations that followed.